Hello and welcome to Wilkins Wired. Again, this is just a good way for me to get some information out to you that is kind of nuts and bolts and doesn't take up time at a staff meeting um, and gets us out of here earlier on Friday. So here we go. If you have any questions on anything that you see, feel free to shoot me an email or stop in and talk to me. First is PLCs. It's a district expectation that we hold a common PLC time for specialists, SPED, EL, etc. Thursdays has been that agreed upon time. No other meetings are scheduled at that time so that people can meet, but you always have the right as teams and individuals to change that schedule and meet at other times. We have talked about the second Wednesday of the month as being our PLC time for second step, and so we'll continue to explore that as an option. Some of the tight stuff around the schedule, and for those new to this, if you have any questions, again, let us know. They're tight is around our schedule. We have a 90-minute reading block for every student every day, no matter what. 75-minute math block, and those might look a little bit different in each room, but we try to stick to those as best we can. 24-hour parent callback or follow-up. When a parent calls or emails, we would like to get back to them as soon as possible. Again, a phone call and talking to them in person is probably preferable to an email or leaving a voicemail message just because of the paper trail, but we always want to get back to them as soon as possible. We talked this morning about picking students up on time from specials, but we also want to make sure we're on time to pick students up from lunch. Again, we'll meet them outside of the recess doors where they will be lined up and we'll bring them in. There is now a card reader on that door, so that should not be an issue where people are getting locked outside. Active supervision, all staff in the hallways in the morning when students arrive. At 8:50, that just makes things go a little bit smoother for everyone involved and helps eliminate some of those problems. District policies. I already emailed you out some information about this, so I'm not going to spend any time, but make sure you do read over those and go into the Google Doc and sign off that you have done so. Safety and security. Today, ironically, we went to a shelter in place, but we will have more information about our safety and security in the next week or so, where we will talk about our drill schedule and familiarize ourselves or re-familiarize ourselves with our lockdown procedures and the different situations that we may find ourselves in. 504, if you have a student that has a 504, we will let you know. But just for your information, Andy Kubis is the district coordinator. I am the building coordinator. Mandy Withers is the 504 case manager. So she will probably be the one bringing you information about a student that has a 504 if you have one. And each building has a 504 team, and our ISST team fills that role. Need to know, core takes priority over interventions, and create a plan for increasing those behaviors. We know we have certain times of the year where behaviors are a little bit higher, so we always want to stay on top of that and be thinking about what we can do to minimize those situations. Also, parties on Thursdays and limit the party time. We don't want parties to roll over into 2 days, and with the treat situation being as it is, we can talk about that and address that as we move ahead, but just keep that in mind when you're planning. And then mandatory event participation. We want everybody to be at band concerts and pride rallies and assemblies, even on Friday afternoons when there's Friday fun going on. It's important that we show support for each other, for the students, for our colleagues, and participate as much as possible. No switching preps due to field trips, special events. Occasionally we might need to do that, but we want to make sure that we're getting it approved ahead of time by me and making it more the exception than the rule. color copy guidelines, I will send those out. We want to make sure that we're not running color copies that are printing things on color that do not need to be. Color ink is very expensive, and in the last couple of years, we've spent quite a bit of money on that. So let's keep an eye on that. Lunch and recess, I sent those schedules out so everybody kind of knows what we're looking at. It's about 15 minutes for lunch and 20 minutes for recess. And those should provide plenty of time for students to eat, and then also give them a fair amount of time to go outside and run around. We will continue the Sheridan story. Aaron Chapman will be heading that up. Next week, look for cards that will be going home to get students signed up so we can get those back and get kids registered as needed. We also will have food packs, and those, many of you may not even know about those, but one of the churches that we partner with brings in food packs, and we were able to provide food to some families last year through those food packs. Work-home life balance, we talked about that this morning. Turn off the tech at night, weekends, spend time with your family. Again, this is going to be a process. I know it's not going to change overnight, but I'll do my part to help you, and you in return can help everyone else by getting stuff done during work hours or planning ahead. So we'll start working through that so everybody can enjoy that nice balance. Tone down the emails. Again, writing really long emails and wanting a response. Everything that we put into email when we're talking to colleagues, parents, people outside of the school, all of that becomes permanent record. So we really need to watch what we put into emails. And the suggested mode of conversation would be, face-to-face. There are times when email has to do or can be effective, but really that face-to-face conversation is the best. And again, if you have something comes up and you need to get a hold of me really quick, the best way to do that is to either send me a text or to give me a call. And that way I know that there's something I need to look at right now, and in an effort for my own work-home life balance. My phone number, 952-388-3112. Again, 952-388-3112. And that's a great way to get a hold of me. Bell schedule, 8:50 is the first bell. That's when kids will come in from the bus line. Students will be entering the building and head to class. Same with kids in the breakfast. They'll be dismissed at that time. 9 o'clock school begins. Any student entering the school at that time has been considered tardy, but again, with our new attendance, we might not be calling those tardy, but there'll be more information to come on those. Just remember to take attendance right away in the morning if they're there or not, and we'll figure out the rest. As of right now, we're looking at 3:10. Kindergarten is being dismissed from the room, so they should be out and moving by 3:10. 3:15 is when the first bell rings. First grade and second grade is dismissed at that time. 3:20, the end of the day bell. Third and fifth grade will be dismissed, followed by kinder prep. There might be a few tweaks in that schedule with our Thrive and Strive students, but right now that's kind of what we are looking at. Subfolder, we talked about that already, so some of this might be redundant, but we do have a shared folder now on the shared drive that will have sub-plans in it. But these might be some of the things that you think about as you are putting those together. As far as sub shortage, I don't know what the sub pool looks like. We might be low, we might be high, I don't know. But just keep that in the back of your mind. We'll use a plan similar to last year where if we need to pull our para to cover classrooms, we will do that. If she is absent or has already been pulled and we are still short, then we will look at using other staff such as intervention or EL. And if we do need to do that, we will do a rotation like we did last year, where one time it will be EL, the next time it would be intervention, and then flip flop back and forth. But I really hope that, again, that's more of an exception and not the rule. QComp observations, again, on September 14th, we will be meeting with Kelly Spees, and we'll be going over, the 13th, going over QComp, and we'll talk about what that means for all of you more at that time. But I will be setting up, or talking at that time about setting up conferences for pre and post observation and observation times for all of our probationary staff as well as high cycle staff. We'll talk about the forms that are needed and how to get those turned into me ahead of time. So again, for new staff, I will talk to you more about this as we get going here into the school year and let you know what you need to know about QComp and observations. Snapshot visits. Again, I really want, outside of the literacy classroom visits, outside of planned observations, I really want to be able to get into the classrooms a lot more. My goal would be at least one time per week, every classroom, to help really develop and think about those relationships and just seeing the kids and kind of in their natural environment, if you will, for improved engagement, looking for learning targets, looking at feedback, and looking at how equity plays out in those classrooms. So snapshot visits, I'll just pop in and see what I see and pop back out. But just to get in those classrooms as much as possible. I really missed that last year, and I really want to do more of that again this year. First day, already covered, wear your Washburn shirt, all hands on deck. Should be an awesome first day, and I'm really looking forward to it. Also, we talked this morning about the den, and the overall consensus was that we are going to call it the quiet room. So instead of being called the Bear's Den, it will be the quiet room. And Wednesday when we meet for PBIS, we have a lot of things to discuss, but one of the things that we'll talk about is the quiet room and kind of the expectations and really reviewing the flow chart of what is classroom managed versus quiet room managed, and drawing those distinctions and starting that conversation. I think once those roles are defined, it'll really help us in that position and help it be more effective. So quiet room moving forward. Again, I appreciate all the hard work you guys put in this week. I look forward to starting the school year and continuing the work that we've started, along with the laughs that we've had this week and just the general upbeat feel of things. So thank you. Enough of me. I apologize for any mistakes, but I'm hoping that I can do this in one take and get it out to you, so it's not radio or TV commercial quality, but I think you get the point. Have a great weekend, and I look forward to seeing you soon.